Kia ora te whānau, welcome back to Under the Whāriki. I'm Anatola.
Kia ora, I'm Tahu.
And today we're talking about a really tough topic and we hope that we can create as safe a space as possible. But really excited to have the guest that we have today. But our topic today is going to be miscarriages.
Yes. And our beautiful, lovely guest is Stevie Davis-Tana. Tēnā koe e hoa. Give us a quick intro bio of who she is.
Yes.
Please.
I can do that. I can do that.
Yeah, okay.
Kia ora te iwi, ko Stevie Davis-Tana tōku ingoa, he uri tēnei no Ngāpuhi, Ngāti Hine, Ngāti Porou ki Harataunga, Te Arawa, me Ngāti Raukawa anō hoki. I live here in Tamaki Makaurau, was born and raised here. I'm a bit of a Jaffa, to be honest. I am a Jaffa.
Let's go!
I'm a Jaffa. I feel like I just live it proudly now.
A Jaffa with lots of whakapapa.
I know, I'm from
everywhere that isn't here.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind having a bit of whakapapa here.
Yeah. You should probably look to start.
Yeah,
just
like,
saying.
Ngāti whātua.
Yeah, just start saying it.
Have I lived here long enough? Probably not.
Well, we're going to start with a quick icebreaker.
Icebreaker.
Warm
Warm-up breaker.
Ice up,
Yeah.
warm breaker. Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
Ko jena na ye. So the topic is said, and then you have to decide if you're a yena or a na ye.
Cool.
Okay?
Let's go.
Compulsory 2 showers a day.
Oh.
Yena na ye.
Me?
Whoever feels...
I feel like I know mine, but you go.
Oh, you go. You go.
No, do you know your answer?
No, you go.
Okay. I feel like it depends. For those who menstruate and bleed, I would say that I probably shower twice a day. But every other day, it's just a nighttime shower for me. So I feel like it's not even a yeah, nah, or nah, yeah. It's like a nah, yeah, or nah, yeah, yeah, nah, kind of like depending.
It's just all of them.
It's just like a little bit of everything, you know?
Yeah, nice.
It depends.
Yeah.
There we go.
I am a nah yeah at the moment. Being pregnant, I like to shower all the time. So I'm deaf to showers while I'm pregnant. Usually when I'm not pregnant and if I don't have my period, I'm like a 1 shower a day unless something has occurred that requires another shower.
There we go.
And you know what? Things happen during the day that sometimes require another shower.
Yeah.
But yeah, usually. But interesting, I'm a shower in the morning type of person.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm a nah yeah.
Yeah.
Nah
Love
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm a yes.
Full blown.
I just like to wake up. It's a nice way to wake up for me.
Yeah.
I wake up and then just get in the shower, quick restart, refresh, and then I get out, and then I get back in at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because that's what you should do.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Nah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, do you have a cold shower in the morning? Or is it
It depends on how hot it is.
Right.
But I think I'm just a really hot sleeper.
yeah.
So it would be ridiculous if I didn't go for a shower.
a shower?
Because I might as well have been workout my sleep.
Do you wake up quite sweaty?
Yeah, yeah, ridiculous. Like I have to have a fan on me in my face. Yeah, you just come to me in bed, just running in bed. Yeah.
Poor Jay's like,
She's like wiping you down.
Water and stuff in my sleep. What is it?
You got this, babe.
Yeah, get through it.
right, so there's like a little sprinkle of different answers. Yeah.
I can't do cold showers though.
Really?
I can't.
Love cold showers.
Really? I can't. I'm a wuss.
Right.
Colder the better.
You should just try some.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
if it's hot, even if like the temperature is hot, like the lowest I can go is maybe like a medium lukewarm. Like I have to. Yeah. I'm a sissy.
Are you good when going into like the ocean or like the pool when it's really cold, or is it just a?
Or do you
It's
like
got to
dip
be
toes
really
in
hot.
and-
It's got to be real
Right.
hot.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, you gotta try some.
I'm a
Yeah.
wuss.
Yeah, just get in there tonight, I reckon.
Oi,
and
just
put
try
on the
it.
coldest and just amp yourself up.
Yeah.
And just like get in there.
Super
That's what you find you do. That you're like screaming for a while, and then you're like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
This feels nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all right. I'll have to try. I'll
Yeah,
let you
have
know
a
how
look.
it
Let us
goes.
know.
I'll let
Yeah,
you know.
Send a video. Yeah.
Boy, I'm excited for that one. I love this. Okay, so we're gonna jump into a pop quiz, which we do after this little icebreaker, and you're going to ask us questions. And Tahu and I have these beautiful whiteboards, and we're
Yes.
gonna answer them.
Let's go.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
Right.
Okay, changing up the vibe a little bit.
Okay. Oh.
Vibe
Yeah.
shifting a little bit.
A little vibe change.
Vibe change.
Okay.
That's okay.
Okay, I think, like, this is a bit of a competition.
Yes.
I mean, yes.
I
mean,
think there
I'm
should
not
be like a
competitive,
I'm
consequence.
not either, which is
A
why.
consequence.
Yeah,
Oh, consequence.
yeah.
Oh,
Like a winner-loser.
Okay.
Wait, are you not competitive?
What?
What?
Are you competitive?
No.
Neither am I. So why am I?
Jokes, yes, I am.
I feel like you're bringing it out of me because I'm not competitive. I'm like, I want to beat Tahu in this
Yeah.
game. Okay, what's the consequence?
What is the
losing.
consequence?
Whoever loses has to sing a song.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That the other one has to choose.
Nice.
Okay.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
Okay, here we go.
Start thinking of a song
Yeah, I already know the song.
for yourself to sing. Good. Here we go.
Okay. I'm trying to like make myself
Yeah, bring
more
the mood.
serious.
Yeah, change the vibe.
Bring the
Yeah, we're
vibe.
changing the
Sorry.
vibe.
There's no way to like do this in a funny way.
Like,
No,
yeah.
no.
Okay.
Okay. So we're talking about miscarriages today. So I've got a couple questions prepped about miscarriages. So what percentage of miscarriages happen in the first trimester? So that's in the first 12 to 14 weeks of a pregnancy.
Percentage.
68%.
52%.
Oh,
Okay.
that's a big difference.
The answer is actually 95%.
Wow.
Yeah, so 95% of miscarriages happen in the first 12 to 14 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I just thought it would be lower because I feel like we don't often talk about it when it isn't second trimester, but maybe it's because it doesn't actually happen as often, right?
What it's called, and I'm not a medical professional, so like,
Yeah.
don't nobody come for me.
Yeah, yeah.
But so a miscarriage, I believe, is when you lose a pregnancy in the first 20 weeks of the pregnancy.
Right.
And then if you're after 20 weeks and you lose the pregnancy or the baby, then it's known as like a stillbirth.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when it's
Yeah.
known as a stillbirth.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but it's quite high if you think about it in the
So
first,
high.
first trimester.
Yeah.
Like majority of miscarriages happen in the first trimester.
In trimester, 95%.
Yeah.
Which still means 5% happen
Happen
in
between
second,
12 to
12 and
20 weeks.
Right.
And that's a little bit more dangerous, eh?
Yeah, it's usually why people don't announce their pregnancies in the first
Trimester.
trimester because you're much more
That's
at risk
your
of having a
chance,
miscarriage.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's also the reason why we often don't hear about miscarriages a lot because people keep their pregnancies quite under wraps in the first trimester so that if they do miscarriage then it's like not a lot of people know. So yeah. Okay, so but Tahu got that one. Hey, good job.
Whatever.
Yeah, okay. Who's counting?
Do you know how to sing Crazy Frog?
That's
Okay.
it. That's it. Serious note.
Sorry.
What percentage of pregnancies result in a miscarriage? This is like typically.
Wow.
What percentage of pregnancies result
I
in
did
a
ratio.
miscarriage?
Oh, I just put a percentage next to it.
Did a ratio? Okay, wait. Oh,
Okay.
Oh, that's too high. I don't know. Okay, wait. You're so like definitive.
Okay, read out your answers.
72%.
Whoa.
Is that too high? That's
like-
very high. That's really high.
I went 20%.
Oh shit, you went really low.
Both of you are higher.
Way higher.
So it's 14%.
Oh, I'm pretty close.
I don't know why. I just
Why would you think?
no, it's because I know so many women have had a
Yes.
miscarriage.
Yeah.
Like,
That's 3 and 4 pregnancies.
well, honestly, I know so many women.
Right.
Like, I know
Yeah.
more women who've had a miscarriage
Yeah.
than women who haven't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, but I was.
So I was just maybe I was thinking that
About
a bias.
How many people? You
But
thought how many people, but
But it's how many pregnancies. So if you
end up
think like if
as a
there's 10
miscarriage.
pregnant women,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
how many out of those pregnancies will
Will.
potentially end in a miscarriage?
Yeah.
I still thought it was going to be high.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
That's it.
A little bit lower, which
Yeah.
is good. Which is good.
Yeah, that is. That
Yeah,
is.
That's great. That's what's the percentage again?
Is
14.
There, is
14%.
there like prevention things? Nah.
Not
For
really.
miscarriage,
Right.
Not really. So, most miscarriages, from what I know, again, I'm not a health professional, it's like completely out of your control.
Yeah.
Like, especially in the first trimester or the first like 20 weeks.
And it's quite common for like first time pregnant people, right?
I'm not too sure.
Right.
I'm not too sure. I like personally with me, I had a miscarriage after I had already had a baby. But I know, lots of people who have miscarried on their first time, or
Wow.
I think it's like, I don't know what the actual statistics are when it comes to like which pregnancy it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 14%. Next question. What proportion of women or people who have been pregnant have experienced a miscarriage?
What proportion of women have experienced a miscarriage?
Who have been pregnant
Who have been pregnant
experienced a miscarriage. So it's not all women, it's like women or people who have been pregnant.
Yeah. We're looking for like 1 in something.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Okay. This is stressing me out.
Charlotte's getting her voice warmed up.
I'm like, oh, shiitake mushrooms. Okay.
1 in 7-ish?
1 in 5?
Okay.
Oh, I was with 1 in 5. I switched.
Ooh, it's actually 1 in 3.
Oh.
Yeah. So one
That's
in
really
every
likely.
3 women who has been pregnant is likely to experience a
Experience a
miscarriage.
miscarriage.
Yeah.
So it's really, really
Really common.
It's
yeah.
so common, but we don't talk about it.
Exactly. So it's crazy to think about how common it is actually, but how little we talk about it.
Yeah.
You know? So interesting. Okay, I've got one more question.
Okay.
What points are we at? Are we 2 to 1?
Yeah.
2 to 1.
Okay, so this is your chance to make it back.
Yeah.
And then you guys can sing a duet. Okay, what percentage of first trimester miscarriages are caused by chromosomal abnormalities?
Holy damn. Say the question again, Stevie.
What percentage of first trimester miscarriages are caused by chromosomal abnormalities?
Oh.
Pick a number. We don't know.
It's a guess.
Yeah. 48%.
48%.
Okay.
75. I've gone too high.
Okay, it's 70%. Well done, Tahu.
I hate
Wow.
it.
So chromosome. What is that?
Yeah, what is that?
So it's like, you know, when the sperm and the egg come together pretty much, and it's like the chromosomes and like genetics and stuff from the papa and the mama come together, and then
Yeah.
the cells start to like
Bond.
and divide and do all that sciencey stuff. Again, I don't know the
Yeah.
technical
Yeah.
things for it. There's all of this like chromosomal stuff going on, and pretty much there's lots of room for something to go wrong, pretty much. Like if chromosomes end up in the wrong place or don't do the right thing. I don't know if that's like the proper PC term for it, but
Yeah.
pretty much so. If things don't end up kind of going the right way, then fetus can end up with a chromosomal abnormality, which is 70% of the time what leads to a miscarriage, which pretty much like goes to show what you were talking about before, Tahu, is like there's actually nothing you can do about that in those circumstances. So it's like it was completely out of your control, because I think a lot of women or a lot of people, when they have a miscarriage, like a common thought is like, oh, what did I do wrong? Or what should I have done differently? But a lot of the time it's actually out of your control, and it didn't have anything to do with what you did. So yeah.
It's so scary. Like pregnancy is a real scary like to be pregnant is a decision that's like a lot bigger than what we think it is. Or when you do decide to go through with the pregnancy. That's a big call because of all these things that happen. So the more that we talk about it, then maybe people can like start getting comfortable with trying to find accessible places to get help, right?
Those percentages are really high.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 in 3. That's crazy.
1 in 3 is wild.
Yeah.
Cool.
Bella?
I think we got it.
La 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 la.
What's your stupid ballad, Tahu? What's your dumb ballad, Nadu?
I don't know what an appropriate song is.
Just do it.
I think we should leave it for
Okay.
after.
Yeah. Nice. We'll do it
Yeah.
after. Yeah.
After the episode.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I've already got stupid songs in my head right now. And I don't want to like have like a party about this. Okay,
Fair.
come on.
Goodness
Very kind,
gracious.
very kind.
Whatever.
So, let's skip the song for now. You've experienced miscarriage, what you mentioned before. How long ago was that?
It was around the beginning of last year.
Yeah. What was it like? How deep into the pregnancy were you? Into the trimester?
So, do you want the full story?
Yeah,
please.
share
Story?
the-
Okay.
If you feel comfortable, share the story.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
I 100% do. So, I think it was around March or April last year. My partner Nat and I found out that we were pregnant again, and super unexpected, but we were really happy. And we actually found out while we were filming our show Whāriki. But we decided to like keep things on the low, and we kind of only told like a few really close people. Usually, what happens when you find out you're pregnant is usually you track your pregnancy, how far along your pregnancy is from the first day of your last period. And so I took a pregnancy test, and I took one of those pregnancy tests that I don't know if either of you have seen these types, but it's like it tells you if you're pregnant, and then it can kind of tell you how many weeks along you are. And so when I took the test, it said I was 3+ weeks. And I was trying to remember when my last period was. And I was thinking that I was probably around the 5 or 6 week mark. So went to my midwife, and she was like, cool, you've already had a baby before. Things should, you don't really need to go for a scan really early on. You can wait until your 12-week scan. So that's usually what they call your dating scan, which is where you go along. And baby's usually like developed enough for them to be able to tell you what your due date will be. So I scheduled a scan for like 5 or 6 weeks later after that. But in the lead up to the scan, I was feeling really anxious. I don't know why, honestly, because I had a baby before, and I hadn't had these like feelings of being nervous and like real anxious with Whāriki, with our first baby.
Yes.
But I was feeling really worried about this pregnancy and this baby. And I had told my partner, and I had told like a few of my friends and my mum and stuff. But there's not really anything that you can do apart from just like, don't be anxious.
Yeah.
Right. Like, yes, great advice.
Yeah, I'll stop now.
Yeah, I'll just not be anxious now, thanks. So we went to what we thought would be our 12-week scan. And I'm lying on the, on the table, and Nat's next to me, and she puts the gel on my puku and the little like Doppler thing over it. And as soon as it comes up on the screen, I'm like, oh, something's not right. But like I've been to my own 12-week scan before, and it didn't look like what it usually did. So what it looked like was the gestational sac, which is pretty much just like a circle. And then there was like a little dot in the gestational sac. And she was like, oh, okay, so that's the fetal pole. The little dot is called a fetal pole. Pretty much what that means is that she's like, you're only measuring at about 6 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks. And so pretty much a fetal pole is what like it is before the baby turns into a fetus, before it develops into a fetus. And so she was like, oh, you're actually only like 6 or 7 weeks along. And I was like to her, well, that doesn't really add up. Yeah, because I took a pregnancy test like 5 or 6 weeks ago, and it said that I was at least 3 weeks along. And she was like, well, the tests can sometimes not be accurate. And I was like, okay, yep, that's fair. But then it would mean that when I took the test that I was like freshly pregnant.
Yeah. That's pretty unlikely too.
Yeah,
It takes
and
a while to
yeah,
show
and I
up,
was like, oh, and that doesn't like really seem right to me. And she was like, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll book you in for a follow-up scan in a week and a half, just to see how things are going. So I was like, okay, well, there's nothing we can really do now. Obviously, all my feelings of anxiety just like skyrocketed because I felt like everything I had been feeling was now like almost kind of validated because I was hoping, okay, I'm feeling really anxious, but I'm going to go into this scan and I'm going to be able to see my baby's heartbeat and it's just going to like settle me. Yeah, and it did the opposite, obviously. So I spoke to my midwife, told her everything that was going on, and she was like, okay, well, what we'll do is over the next week, in between now and your next scan, we'll send you for regular bloods. So I went for blood tests every 2 days, and pretty much what she was looking at is my HCG levels, which I think is like a hormone you produce, and when you're pregnant, especially in the first part of your pregnancy, your HCG levels should be like constantly rising.
Right.
And so got the first blood test results back and she was like, you're fine, your HCG levels are still rising, you're all good. Went for bloods again 2 days later and she said, oh, your HCG levels have dropped a little bit. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. They can fluctuate sometimes.
Do they not even consider yet that you might have miscarried? Or like something's wrong?
I think they like wait until they can
It's sure, right?
Yeah, can actually know.
Because I feel like that would also create even more anxiety. If
Yeah, totally.
If someone's, it could be miscarriage and you're like,
Yeah, 100%. And it's like,
no good
I
news.
literally couldn't do anything in that week because I was just like so, like I couldn't function mentally.
that would be so hard.
So I went back for a third lot of bloods and she was like, oh, your HCG levels have dropped again. Pretty much you just need to like be in a wānanga space with you and your body and your baby and just she was like, don't do anything, just like sit within yourself and just, you know, like whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Did you have an inkling that it potentially could have been miscarriage?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely did. And in fact, in like the lead up to the next scan, I was like preparing myself for, okay, this is potentially what's going to happen. And so I think it was like the morning of the next scan, I actually took a photo of myself in the mirror with like, it's not even a baby bump. Like it was my breakfast. Like, but I was like, but I just wanted to like have a photo of me with my puku because I just had this feeling that this
Something
was going to happen. So we went in for our next, for the follow-up scan and did the same thing. And as soon as she put it over my puku, like, we knew like there was a gestational sac and there was nothing inside there. And I just turned to my partner and I was just like, oh, there's no baby. Yeah. And the sonographers were really, really lovely. Like they were really kind and she pretty much said to me, oh, I'm sorry, unfortunately your pregnancy hasn't progressed. And then we left. But it was weird because, so I had what's called a missed miscarriage, which is when you miscarry your pepe, but your body doesn't realize you've had a miscarriage. Right. So I had no signs, like no cramping, no bleeding, no like none of that, which some women do when they have a miscarriage. That's sometimes how they know that they're miscarrying. But I didn't have anything, so yeah, it was such a crazy experience. And at the time I was just like, I just remember thinking, I was like, oh, I know this is a thing that happens, but not to me, you know, like it's just one of those things that you never think will happen to you until it happens to you. So,
and do you realize how likely it is?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Did your periods change after that? Like, were your periods the same after the miscarriage or like the first bleed?
After do you want to know what happened afterwards?
Oh,
yeah. Did you get a surgery or anything?
Yeah, so there's usually a couple options.
Because normally miscarriage can just happen naturally.
Yeah. It just comes right out.
Yeah, totally. So some women, that's how they miscarry, is like they bleed and kind of all the pregnancy tissue, everything comes out. Sometimes what can happen though is like you can bleed a bit, but not everything comes out. So you have to go and have a procedure anyway. But so pretty much my midwife, she was amazing. She said, oh, you've got a couple of options here. One, you can just wait till things pass naturally. The only thing with that is you don't know when that will be. So you're pretty much just like waiting around until that happens. Or there are like a couple different medical routes that you can take. One, I think, is where they like give you something orally to take and it helps your body to pass it. And then the other option is I think it's called a dilate and curettage, which is a medical procedure where they put you under and they pretty much remove all the pregnancy tissue.
Called a DNC?
Called a DNC. And I ended up choosing the DNC just because I didn't want to wait around.
Yeah.
I was just like, usually I'm very like, yes, I'd love to do this naturally. But for me, I was just like, emotionally, I don't think I can.
Much longer.
Yeah. And like carrying this around with me is already very heavy emotionally. And I don't want to like be at the grocery store or dropping my son off at kindy and like all of a sudden I'm bleeding my baby out, you know?
Yeah.
So I decided to do the DNC, which worked really well for me. I know every woman's different, but it's pretty much you book in a hospital date, you go and they take out everything for you. And I think the thing that was really settling for me is that I knew it would be like full and final. Yeah. So it's like I would have a date where I would know and then I could go and I could have everything, you know, taken care of pretty much,
Did you, were you able to keep what they took out and bury and have a...
So after they take all the pregnancy, they call it like pregnancy tissue or pregnancy material. It's so odd. It's like so medical. But so they took everything out of me and then they have to send it away to do a bit of testing just to make sure that there's nothing else in there that they need to be concerned about. And then I tick the box for I want to have everything returned to me. And then a couple of weeks later, they called and let me know that I could come and pick up our baby pretty much. And so we went and they had everything in like this little like white cardboard box. It's actually really sweet. They like wrap it with like a little ribbon and put like a little like hand sewn, it was like a little knitted, I think it was like a cat or something on it. It was really sweet. So they gave that back to us. And so we actually had our baby with us for a little while, just at home. Our intention was always to bury Pepe. We actually wanted to bury our baby with my nanny who had passed away just before I had a miscarriage. But we didn't want to wait around. We just kind of wanted to settle things for us. So we ended up burying them. We have like, we call it our ahuru mōwai, but we've got like a little grove kind of thing out at the back of our house. So one day we just went out there and buried baby out there. So
Nice.
It's so important to do, right?
Yeah.
So I know one of my best friends who went through a miscarriage. She had a miscarriage at home, but all her whānau were there.
Wow.
And she was bleeding and they had to call the ambulance and her husband had to collect what was, being released out of her body and, got kawa plant and put it in a bucket. And it was such a traumatic experience, but the way that they, tried to ensure that the space was as safe as possible. They were, seeing waiata and they were, saying karakia. So like making a horrible experience, trying to bring as much like light, or not even light's not the right word,
but just like comfort to it,
and just like a village kind of like wrapping around, her. And she said the hardest was like making sense of like what was happening to her body and not, as you said, like not blaming herself and just like also giving herself time to like heal and whatnot. But she also said that she had an inkling, like she just knew. Do you think that most people just know like that there's like this gut thing that you're like, oh, something doesn't feel right? Or do you think it just comes out of nowhere?
I think it's different for every person. I've also spoken to other wahine who have said that they knew that they were going to have a miscarriage. And then I think, I'm sure for other people it just probably happens very spontaneously. I think I had known for a long time, and that was what my feelings of anxiety were about.
Yeah.
You know, but like I've also heard stories of women who, you know, like have begun like miscarrying and bleeding while they're on the toilet, and you know, like the blood and everything goes into the toilet, and then all of a sudden they have to make the decision about whether they flush or not. You know, and it's like, it's like an impossible choice to have to make. So it's like, I think from what I know, there are a lot of similarities, but I think, must just be different for every person, I'm assuming.
Where did you find, like, how did you heal after that? Like, what did you do to process what was happening and what had happened?
It was really difficult for me, I think, emotionally. My partner was so good. He was so loving and supportive throughout it all. And I'm really fortunate that of how like loving and tender he was with me during the time. I think for me, one part of the healing was when we buried baby. Yeah. I think that helped to like bring me a lot of peace. My partner like did a lot of karakia for us after I had miscarried, or when we found out that we had, and I also got counselling for it. So I was seeing a counsellor and was talking to her about my miscarriage experience, and she helped me a lot to process like a lot of the feelings that I was going through. I think like looking back, there are probably way more things I should have done to heal. Like I should have reached out to like people around me, like my friends and my whānau. But at the time I was just so like, I don't know, emotionally
detached.
Yeah, that I just like didn't want to talk to anyone, you know? So, but I think looking back, like I think that's probably what I should have done, like was reached out to my community around me to do that. So yeah,
you come around faster than that though, eh? Like fast enough. I think you had the right time to deal with it because I remember we've talked about this, and it would have been maybe 5-ish months after that, 4-ish months after you had actually miscarried, and you were pretty open about it to start working through your mamae then.
Yeah.
So I think the time period, it's not that there has to be a time period, just that eventually you have the comfort to reach out to your whānau.
Yeah.
Now you're actually hapu.
Yes.
Yeah, that is not a breakfast bump. This is a
part of it, maybe.
But was those anxieties straight back when you found out about this hapu, or you felt good around this one? Around this PP coming?
No, I have felt Tahu this entire time. Like I felt so settled.
So maybe you just knew.
Yeah.
You really did.
Yeah, I think so. But I also like so we actually got pregnant again very quickly, and like my midwife was like, you should probably wait like and even at the hospital they were like 3 months after your procedure is how long you probably should wait. And I was like a month later pregnant again.
Wow.
So we were just like, well, okay, it's meant to be, you know.
Yeah.
But being pregnant again after miscarrying was quite strange for me. Like, you like almost tiptoe like with things quite a bit, because it's not that I was like anxious and scared like what I was with our miscarried pregnancy, but I was just very hyper aware of things. So with this pregnancy, we didn't tell anyone in the first 12 weeks.
Wow. So nobody knew?
Yeah, nobody knew. We waited until we were out of the first trimester before we told anyone. Obviously, apart from our midwife.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, no, I felt way more settled. And my midwife had said to me, like, very much that I, like, needed to not focus on having
another
on the miscarriage, and just I think one thing for me that I tried to practice this pregnancy was like, okay, well, I'm just grateful. Like, I'm grateful for every day that I have with this baby. And you know what? Whatever happens does happen, but I'm just going to like be in this moment while I can and enjoy having this pregnancy. And
Was it a little bit sad to like let go of the miscarriage?
yeah.
To have to move on, eh?
Yeah.
Because you're back in the living.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, you have to leave the mate where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like very strange. I think it also depends on kind of like what you believe, because part of me was like, oh, that baby didn't come to us, but now we have another baby. And then part of me was also like, oh, well, maybe that wasn't the time for that baby, and they've just chosen to come now at a different time.
Wow.
You know, so I don't know exactly what I think or what I believe, but I think it's just like trying to be like, yep, now that I'm pregnant again, just trying to enjoy this pregnancy, which can be very hard. You can like get feelings of like guilt kind of, but yeah.
Trying to be present with it, right?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, yeah. What would you say to yourself? Like, what would you, if you could go back and tell yourself before you found out you were going through a miscarriage, what do you think you'd tell her?
I think just like, take care of yourself, you know, be very gentle with yourself. Even though I knew it wasn't my fault, just probably reminding myself that. I think one thing that people kind of tell you when you have a miscarriage, or I had people kind of tell me this when I had a miscarriage, was, oh, it wasn't meant to be, like, you know, and I understand that comes from a really good place.
But you hate this shit.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Because it's like,
how do you?
oh, when you're in the shit, like, you don't want someone to be trying to point out the silver lining of the shit, you know? Or like, oh, here's the bright side of the shit. It's like, actually what?
It's shit.
Yeah, it's just shit.
It's just shit.
And it's okay for that, for it to be like that. Like, I just wanted people to tell me, like, oh, yeah, you're in the shit, and this is really hard, and I'm so sorry, and I love you, and I'm just going to sit in the shit with you. Yeah, totally.
I think that's a real, it's in Māori, Tangiana, people don't really say they've moved on to a better place. Like, they just said they're gone.
Yeah,
they're gone. Back to the spirit, back to the Wairua, wherever they've gone. But they tell you, cry. Hey, this is your time.
Feel
it.
Totally.
Yeah, and it's all right. It's all right to have that space and that time to really feel that mamai. But once you've done the mamai and it's high your career and it's with you forever, that scar, then patch it up, and we've got to keep moving because you're still here.
Yeah, totally. I think one of the things that was hard for me about having a miscarriage was that it was very private and very personal. Whereas, like, I was thinking back to my nanny's tangihanga a few months earlier, where it was a very public thing. Like, we had announced to everyone that she had passed away, and people had sent us messages and flowers, and people came to her tangihanga, and we grieved together as a family and as a community, and we were whānau pani, you know, so it's like in Te Ao Māori, when someone passes away, the immediate whānau is the whānau pani, and they're not supposed to do anything, pretty much. Like, just to grieve, And I remember kind of like when we had our miscarriage and the weeks following that, and I was thinking, oh man, like, aren't I supposed to be like whānau pani right now? You know, like, shouldn't I have this? Or why don't I get to have this big, like, grieving around me? Or is it like the grieving feels invisible? Because
lonely?
Because no one knows, because it's not this huge public thing where we're telling everyone, oh, we lost a baby, and even having feelings of guilt, like, oh, I didn't even really have a technical baby, you know? Like, we only, like, our baby hadn't even progressed to, like, to an actual, like, baby yet, you know? So it was like this feeling of, I need to grieve, I want to grieve, but feeling guilty over do I actually have the right to grieve this?
Yeah, of course.
That's
The
so
thing that
heavy.
It's such Pākehā
Yeah.
Western.
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah, hard.
Because their wairua was there.
Absolutely.
And that's what you're grieving.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
not their
it's a,
tinana.
and they were a baby.
Yeah.
They were your baby,
Yeah.
and whatever it looks like in the medical, that's different to how you felt in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
moment. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's really hard to like kind of come out of, I'm sure, and like the loneliness and the invisibility must have felt really isolating. And you said like counseling's helped, and burying Bubba has helped.
Yeah.
And now you're helping, like that's,
Yeah.
you know, like, but I do find like a lot of people like will say like, I know in my world, like a lot of people are Christian and they always say like, oh, unless they're gone to heaven or they're gone to it. I'm like, that's so unhelpful.
Yeah.
Whether you
yeah.
had a miscarriage or like
Yeah.
it's a person that like your mom or your dad or your aunt or whatever it is, like that's just unhelpful to say. Whether you believe in a higher power or not, like it's just unhelpful. So like, what can people say? Like you did say before, like just sitting with it. But
Yeah.
like, what do you think? What some things that people could say if their loved one had experienced a miscarriage?
I think it's really just like feelings of love, and you know, it's not like not pity, not I'm trying to pity you,
Yeah.
but it's like I love you so much and I'm so sorry. Like this is really hard, and like you're not alone, you know, in this, even though it can feel very lonely.
Yeah.
I think and everyone's different and it's hard to gauge this, but sometimes I wish that people would have just turned up, like at my house.
Just shown up.
Yeah. And just
But you
like,
hadn't told anyone.
nah.
But
like,
you just, like,
yeah.
just feel me.
Like we
Just-
had told a couple of
Yeah.
people that we had miscarried, and
Oh.
I'm not saying like it's not their
fault.
responsibility. yeah. Like they're going to watch this and be like, bitch, like.
But these are real things.
Yeah.
These are real
You know?
things. Yeah.
Like even just like almost, you know, when you have a baby, like there's things that you can do as like someone who's going to visit, like you can like go and take kai, you can like help clean up, you can do stuff so like mama can go have a sleep and stuff. And I actually just wish that people had treated me like I just had a baby, like and just come over and cleaned my house and brought me
Feels so-
dinner and like
No, that's
it's so like
real.
it's so pitiful way, but it's just like I think I just
That's the comfort. You
yeah,
really
I
want,
needed a community around me,
Yeah.
but I wasn't brave enough in the moment to ask for it. I just made myself feel like, nah, you're all good. You can get through this.
Right.
Like people go through worse, you know, that thing like, oh, there are worse things that happen to people as if that's like,
comparisons.
yeah,
Bullshit.
yeah,
Because you only know what you know.
exactly.
And if you know that you're sad,
Yeah.
then you have to find a way to work
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
Man. I like what you're talking about with like you don't know what you believe about this baby and what's happening with it. But I have whānau, you know, well it's so likely, but I have whānau as well that have had the same type of I had miscarried and she had miscarried twice, and this was for the third baby of this whānau.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we already had two big whānau from that one, and then our next one was coming, and we all got excited, and then it didn't happen. The next one was coming, we all got excited, didn't happen, and then the third time it worked.
Oh
Yeah, and on this time, we were like a little bit less optimistic, but and treading like eggshells around,
Yeah.
like trying to
Yeah.
be really careful about it, and because of the mama, it was so raw and still real at the time, and my auntie felt like at the time she was carrying all these babies now.
Wow.
Yeah, and this baby that came, it's 3 personalities.
It's got 3 babies. It's got 3 babies in one.
Yeah, it's a
3 in one
bastard.
baby.
It's fucking- but like you know, like those gifts that do come
Yeah.
from it, they're pretty special as well. So I think this baby's gonna be ridiculous. Because they got so much. They dealt with this with you. you know?
Totally.
Yeah.
And yeah, I love that type of cuddle. Anything to wrap up?
Just question, when's the baby born?
March
Next
31st.
month. Yeah.
Is that? Oh my God, Aries.
Aries, but I went and saw my midi lady, and she said that she thinks baby's gonna come early and is gonna be a Pisces.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know
That's
what
two
that
very
means to
different
me, but
energies. Very different.
Yeah.
But imagine cusp.
Yeah.
A Pisces
I don't know
Aries
what that
cusp.
means.
That's a lot.
It's in
But
between.
imagine it. Imagine it.
Yeah.
Imagine it. I actually, sorry, I know we were going to wrap up, but I have this buzzy experience. Can I share it with you
Yes,
guys?
Oh my gosh,
go.
yes,
So-
absolutely.
So I was talking to you guys before about how last year I did Te Pīnakitanga ki Te Reo Kairangi, which is a Te Reo Māori course through Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. And at the end of the year, we did like a tohi pure ceremony, which is kind of like a purifying ceremony in the water. And one of our kaiako was doing like a karakia, and as soon as he started, he was the kaiako out of all of them that I'm the closest with. And as soon as he started like doing his karakia, instantly I felt like I was gonna faint. Like it was the craziest experience. Like I had to like grab the arms of the people next to me because I was like, I'm fully gonna faint in the ocean and drown.
That's so
I'm fully gonna faint right now.
yeah.
And I was like wobbling hard out, and I was just like trying to like breathe and keep myself together and composed because everyone's like staunch as, and I'm just like woo, like buzzing out. And then as soon as he finished, I was fine, and I felt like that was a pure ceremony, like for me to help like cleanse, because I felt like I hadn't had anything properly to like to cleanse me, and I
Would
feel
that
like
miscarriage have been around that time?
nah, it was way after. So I was actually pregnant with this baby
Right.
at that time.
No, the
But
miscarriage due date.
Oh,
That might have
yes,
been-
actually.
Oh.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
Oh my god, I am too.
Yes, actually, yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing as well. If they had stillborn or miscarry, at that time where the baby was supposed to bring their wairoa to our world,
Yeah.
they had that tangi or that
Oh
ceremony
my
there.
gosh.
Ooh.
Stevie!
You might-
That's
that
so
might-
buzzy.
I don't know. I don't know. Might have been it.
Actually, yeah.
I connected it straight away. when you
Wow,
said
that's buzzy
December.
because I've told other people the story and no one has made that
Thought of
connection.
that.
Yeah.
That's
buzzy.
wild.
But true, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It'd been the time that it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last little.
Yeah.
See you
That
later.
was their like, yeah,
That's
Cool,
amazing.
that's me now. yeah,
Oh my gosh, you're gonna have to sit with that now.
yeah.
Maybe.
Wow.
Shut Tahu.
Amazing.
Who knows?
We're gonna end it there. Thank you so much, Stevie, for your beautiful, what you shared and about a really hard situation in your life. But the way that you articulated yourself, and I'm sure that anyone out there who's gonna watch it is really gonna benefit from it.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Amazing.
And a cool thing I picked up was to remember that you can reach out and it's not something you have to deal with alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Very
that
courageous today, Stevie.
Thank you.
and
Thank you
people
very
need
much.
to reach out to.
Yes.
With their loved ones, that to show up and be present and don't say stupid things.
I don't think to be fucking about because it's so
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah.
Hard out. Awesome, guys. That's us for this episode for Under the Whāriki. We will see you next time. Ka kite anō.
Haere.